This video is about a failed AppleCare experience, trying to sell a damaged MacBook, and why I bought an underpowered MacBook in the first place.
Do you have an old computer? Maybe there's damage on it and Apple won't take it in as a trade-in. What do you do? What do you do? Hi, this is Rick. Welcome to VidTech with Rick. Well, we're going to talk about selling your old computer. Now, I'm talking about my MacBook from 2017. It was a MacBook. I loved it. It was so thin and light, and I loved it. And I'll talk about AppleCare too, because something happened to it, and I had to take it to AppleCare. I actually dropped it too, and it kind of broke the side. It kind of dented the side, and it kind of swelled, and it was pretty terrible. Also, I had a clear case that I put on it, and I closed it up one day, and it would kind of give me some resistance, and I forced it, and it cracked the back panel of the top screen. It kind of cracked it, and I was like, no! So this meant that I couldn't turn it in. My whole point was to turn it in when it got time to turn it in and get the value.
So Apple would have given me $290 for my trade-in value of my MacBook. Of course, it diminishes over time. So if I would have done this a year ago or 2 years ago, it would have been a lot more. But at this time, it would have been $290 if it was in perfect condition, and it wasn't.
I sent it right before my AppleCare was over, about the 3-year mark last year. I sent it in to AppleCare to get the battery fixed because it was swelling, the case fixed because I had dropped it, and to get that little notch fixed. And I talked about this in my little report of what was going on, what was wrong with it. The bottom case, they replaced the bottom case, they replaced the top case and the keyboard. And oh, the keyboard was sticking too. I forgot to say the keyboard was sticking too. That's just a butterfly thing, so they had to do it anyway. But then they sent it back to me with that little notch still broken. And I'm like, well, this isn't right. And I called AppleCare and I said, well, this isn't right. What's going on? And they took 2 senior levels of AppleCare specialists to talk me through this, and for whatever reason, it came to a point where they couldn't do anything. And I was just like, oh, why can't you do anything? It sucks. I just decided, oh well, screw it. I'll just keep it. I'll just keep this forever because I've been keeping this one forever. So this was a mistake. I shouldn't have kept this one forever because now there's 0 value in it, and all it is a novelty to kind of show you guys. Anyway, okay, well, how much will this little notch thing cost to fix? Because I can't get the value from it and I can't do anything with it. I didn't know what to do. I was going to have to sell it on eBay or Craigslist, and I kind of wanted to just not deal with people and just turn it in. So I took it into the Apple Spectrum Center right by me, the Apple store there, and I talked to a specialist, and they told me about the notch, and they actually kind of looked up all my stuff, and they said, yeah, the top screen has to be replaced. I thought it was just a strip. They could change the strip. No, that's not true. They have to actually replace the entire top part. And they said in order to do that, it would cost about $480, and because it's out of warranty. And he suggested, but they should have done this with your AppleCare. They should have done this. I would call them back and fight them and try to get it. This is the technician, the Apple technician is telling me this, that I should try to fight them. And I said, you know what? I'll just go ahead and put the Craigslist up and just see what happens. Put a Craigslist up. I got one person who said, yeah, I'm gonna come get it. Never heard from him again. Then I got another person who said, why is that notch not fixed? I'm like, I'm not sure, but it doesn't hurt the function of the computer. It's a great computer. If you want it, he says, yeah, I'll probably buy it. Never heard back from him. Then the next day, so it all took about 24 hours, actually. I was kind of surprised. But the next day I got one more person. He said, hey, I'm really interested in this. I think I'll come buy it. I'm like, great. And he came over and he bought it, and he gave me, instead of $325, he gave me $300. Great, that's $10 more than Apple was gonna give me, so it's great, and he gave me cash, and I, thank goodness, mwah, perfect experience. Okay, so this video is just kind of rambling, but that was my experience with AppleCare. AppleCare is great, especially if you have a laptop. I would totally suggest getting AppleCare. With this Mac Mini, I say don't bother getting a, don't bother, because there's no battery in here and there's no screen, and those are the things that usually go out. So I never got AppleCare with this. I also don't get AppleCare with my phones, my iPhones, because I usually turn them in over, after a year. So everything should be covered under warranty up until a year. So,
well, let's talk about why I bought that MacBook in the first place. Well, we have to go back to my first laptop. Oh my gosh, that one was in AppleCare several times.
This is my old laptop. This is a 2007 MacBook. That was my first laptop. one of my first Macs. I think I had a Mac, the iMac right before that, but this was a great machine. It was huge, but the fans would twirl. I mean, the fans were so annoying and it would get so hot. You couldn't ever put it on your lap. And so when it came time to get a new laptop, I could have gotten the 13-inch MacBook Pro, or I could have gotten the MacBook. And I decided, I just don't want fans, and I want it to be as light and thin as portable. And it was. I loved my MacBook. My MacBook was so light and thin. It was great, and I could take it anywhere, and I loved it. I bought it just as a backup computer, just something to travel with.
Was it underpowered compared to my fully spec'd out iMac 2011? Yes, but it was never meant to replace that one until it had to.
But I thought, well, if I ever do need to use it to edit with or something, I can edit 4K video. I tested it out at the Apple Store. I could edit 4K video with it. It was great.
Shortly after I bought the MacBook, my main iMac died. There was a known issue with the graphics card where it would get overheated and the glue would separate from the display or whatever. Anyway, it wouldn't work. AppleCare fixed it a couple of times, but then the third time, the warranty was out and they would not fix it. And now I think I could have probably fought them on it, but at the time I just sold it to a company who buys damaged iMacs for $200. So conclusion, should you get AppleCare? Yes, 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 get AppleCare. It has saved my butt so many times, especially if you have a laptop or a iMac, maybe not a Mac Mini or an iPhone if you're going to turn them in every year, but definitely if you're going to keep your computer, get AppleCare. It's very, very important. Just remember, you might need to fight if they're not going to do things right. And especially like my iMac, if it was a known issue, they should have replaced it even for a third time when the AppleCare was out of warranty. I just should have fought. Same with my little notch incident. Should have fought them for it. So remember, stick to your guns. Second, if you are trying to sell your laptop, try to sell it on Craigslist first. There are some nice people out there. I don't know. eBay kind of makes me nervous, but I'm sure they have guarantees and everything. But try to sell it locally first so you don't have to worry about shipping and the shipping charges, because they're actually more expensive than you might think. Third, Apple trade-in. Now, you might get more money if you sell it on your own. But if you don't want to hassle with people, Apple will give you top dollar. I shouldn't say top dollar, but Apple will give you a good amount of money for your old Mac product. And so I would suggest not waiting until the end of your Mac's life cycle before you trade it in, to get some value out of it and then put it towards a new computer. And then you can trade that one in a year or two and still get your value out of it.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.